Team list Tuesday. Should I just remove that last video? Katoa? Anyway. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I just want to thank all of you guys for subscribing over the last few days. It's really appreciated. So we're going to get straight into analysing those team lists. So we may as well start with Katoa. Talking about the Warriors in terms of how flaky they could be with their selections. You know, could be dropping someone after they have a really good week. In terms of Katoa, he's actually been put down to the bench. So with this one, I'm not exactly sure at the moment what's going to be happening. There's a good chance that he could be promoted back into the starting side, like he was in the first week with switching with Papali. So that's something that's remained to be seen. But in terms of him being a must-have, he's probably someone that I just wait a little bit on, see how he's going over this next week, and work it out from there. The only issue with this is that his break-even's extremely low, at -11, which means that if he was to score 30 points, he'd probably go up 50k, which is very likely to do playing off the bench anyway. So it's definitely something to think about if you're planning on buying him. If you're someone that has him in your team already, he's definitely a hold. I still definitely see him playing a bit of a role in sort of the next few months for the Warriors in some capacity, just because he played really well in those games that he did play. So next interesting one I'm going to be talking about is Adam Dewey with the Tigers. So his story is he was actually playing those first two rounds in the centres, and a lot of people were really interested in buying him. Since he's moved to the centres, a lot of people went off him. He hasn't actually scored very well, scoring in the mid-20s. So this fullback position, this opportunity may give him a chance to be scoring up in the mid-30s to 40, like we thought he was going to be. Only thing to think about is Corey Thompson's out at the moment, so there's a good chance that he might come straight back into that position like he was before. One of the other interesting ones was Blake Laurie was scoring really well, sort of a potential mid-range buy in the mid-500s for all teams, playing at lock. He's actually been moved back to the bench with James Graham moving into the third team, so he's someone that we'll just watch for the next little period. Alright, Raymond Fatala-Mariner, so RFM, as most people would know, has been a really good scorer in the past, and he's finally got his opportunity again this year to be back in the second row spot. So he's really cheap at the moment, and he's someone I believe who will be getting 80 minutes a game now that Joe Stimson is actually injured and out for a long time. So he now has that opportunity again and is someone to consider in your team. Right, the next one to talk about is the Harry Grant, Billy Walters situation. So Harry Grant has come over from the Storm, and it looks like he's been given the first crack at that number 9 jersey, which bumps Billy Walters down to the bench, where he's probably looking to get 20 to 30 minutes, especially in these first few rounds. So there's been a lot of talk about Harry Grant and his ability, his talent. So he's getting that opportunity right now, which is great for him, but not great for us Billy Walters owners. With Harry Grant, if he's as good as people are saying he is, he's going to be able to score really well in the 9 position at his base price. So he's definitely someone that you could have some interest in bringing into your team this week, if not over the next few weeks, once you actually get a look at how he plays. Billy Walters, on the other hand, getting those lower minutes. He still has a negative break even, so he's going to make some money over the next week or two. But if he's only able to score 20 points a game, it's quickly going to start losing money. So he's someone that you want to look at moving on over the next few weeks. Alright, we're going to move on to the Broncos. So we've got Thomas Flegler and Jamil Hopewade as your two options in there. Flegler's starting, and Jamil Hopewade is also starting, but in the second row. So a couple of things to think about with this is that Matt Lodge is coming back. Good chance it's going to be this week on the bench, is what has been said. But he, eventually when he gets back to full health, is going to be in that starting team. So Flegler is someone right now that is scoring really well, amazingly well, but he's going to be bumped back to the bench, and which usually would mean some reduced minutes there. And with Jamil Hopewade, he was able to get 80 minutes in round 2, and it looks like over the next 3 weeks he'll be getting 80 minutes as well, looking to average around 40. So he's really cheap as well, and he will make money over these next 3 weeks, but he does have Pangai Jr. coming back from his suspension in round 6, I believe. So just something to consider if you do have him in your team or you're looking to get him in your team. He will score well over the next few weeks, but then will be bumped out of the team or even back to the bench, where you get reduced minutes there. So something to think about with those two guys. The Jamal Fogarty has got the number 7 spot at the Titans. Really interesting selection, finding out that AJ Brimson has actually broke his back, which means he's going to be out, I imagine, for the season. Tyrone Roberts has moved to the centres, and Jamal Fogarty has moved into the halves. So interesting one with him. He's obviously a basement player. He's only played 2 games in the NRL in the past, so he's someone to keep an eye on at a basement price. The other one is Tui Kamakamika. I don't know how you say it, but big fella from the Storm. He's actually not playing this week after having a really good start, averaging high 40s and being a bit of a force to be reckoned with. He is out this week with a bit of a back issue. So looks like it's only going to be 1 to 2 weeks. So if you have him, I'd definitely hold, but obviously definitely hold off on buying him in this week. Next one, guys, is going to be Matt Burton from the Panthers. So he's been given this opportunity because Nathan Cleary's out for the next 2 weeks. Biggest thing for him, again, there's been a lot of big raps on this guy. He's finally got another chance. Played well a few games last year. And I think Jerome Luai is going to move into the 7 position and play more of the Cleary role, with giving Matt Burton the chance to run the ball a little bit more and show his skills on the left-hand side there. So he's someone that I'd be definitely looking into, with Jerome Luai being sort of one of those players that he's there, but there was a chance that Burton was going to take his spot in the preseason. So I'd be looking into that, seeing how Burton goes. He definitely has a spot over the next 2 weeks, but will he get it long term? At this stage, it's a no, but there is a chance that if he does play well, he will be able to take Luai's spot and be more of that running half with Cleary at 7. So if you're someone that likes to take a punt with those type of players, I know it's worked in the past. People like Jack Bird and Ewan Aitken were only guaranteed a spot for a week or 2, and then they were actually, when they were given their chance, were actually able to capitalise on that and then be one of the best cash cows in the season. So Matt Burton could be one of those guys, but we'll wait and see with that one. All right, moving to the Cowboys. So Michael Morgan's going to be out for the next 4 weeks. He got some shoulder surgery, and that gives Jake Clifford the chance to come back into the team and play. So he'll be given those 4 weeks. He's definitely played in the past. He's sitting around 560k. So when he is playing, he does score well, but he doesn't offer any upside to be able to bring him in for those 4 weeks for any price rises. So one that I'd be leaving there. Next time we got Cam McInnes coming back into the Dragons team. So one of those top few guns in the league. So if you'd like to get him back into your team straight away, then go for it. But my personal preference is to wait a few weeks for these guys that have been injured in the past, especially when they're already at their ceiling price. So he's someone that you can wait a little bit. He might actually drop a little bit in value, and then you can pounce on him in a few weeks. All right, back to those Panthers, and Kurt Capewell is playing his first game for the Panthers since moving from the Sharks. What it looks like for him is that spot is actually going to be his, and he does come at a little bit of a discount from previous years. So if he is someone that does get the 80 minutes, he's someone that likely scores 40 plus. So someone to keep an eye on over this week and see how he goes from there. All right, guys, Boyd Cordner is back for the Roosters. Again, someone who's priced at their ceiling, so it'd be a wait and see with him. He's not someone who's in that complete gun status, so he'd be someone that I'd be avoiding over these next few weeks anyway. Right, we've got young Dargan coming in for the Rabbitohs, with Cody Walker being out for the next 2 weeks. With that one there, it's only going to be a 2-week thing. He might play well, but I doubt there's going to be a spot for him after those 2 weeks when Cody Walker comes back, so I'd be leaving that one. And the last one there, Connor Watson is going to be playing the 9 this week. As I'm sure a lot of you know, Andrew McCulloch has been signed by the Knights and will be the 9 for this season coming. So Connor Watson will be there this week. I imagine they're just getting McCulloch used to the way they play, etc., and they'll be getting him straight into that team as of next week. So Connor Watson's going to score great again this week, but then he should go back to that utility role where he'll be playing that 40 to 50 minutes like he was in the first few games. So just someone to monitor as well there. All right, we're going to move over to the injury list. First thing, we're going to talk about David Fafita. So unfortunately, it sounds like he's going to be out for the next 5 to 6 weeks, only just getting out of his boot, according to the coach. So he should be someone that you are trading out of your team. It's too much money sitting there to wait for him. You can trade him straight to another gun, which can be used to get those points, which are vital at this stage especially. Moving to the Sharks, and we've got a few issues here. So Bronson Xerri has tested positive to performance-enhancing drugs, which means he's going to be stood down. So it was exciting for him to be coming back, and then now he's out. Just terrible news for him and the Sharks. Yeah, not much more I want to say about that one. And then the other one is Matt Moylan. So it was said that he was going to be back almost for round 3 or 4 before we had this break, and now he's still not back. So he's someone that I'd just be putting a line through at this stage. There's obviously some real issues there with his body. He's someone that gets injured a lot anyway, so I wouldn't be thinking about putting him into your team anyway. So with the Cowboys, Gavin Cooper's out this week, but should only be a 1 to 2 week injury. So moving on to the Warriors, and Leeson Armour is out for the season with a torn pec. Jazz Tavanga is out indefinitely, should be a fair while with him. So as I said, that's giving an opportunity to guys like Tanua Brown, hopefully Lisa Katoa on the Warriors there. Moving on to the Raiders, we've got the legend John Bateman. Can't wait to see him back on the park, but he's only probably got 1 to 2 weeks left until he'll be back. Be interesting to see what happens in the Raiders pack when he does come back. And also Hudson Young, who's going to be out for the next 3 weeks, so coming back in round 6 there. Something to look at there with players like Corey Horsburgh, Joe Tarpany, and seeing where they end up when these guys come back. Next one again, Bradman Best. He's someone that everyone's been talking about in the preseason. It looks like he'll be coming back very soon. So he's someone that we'll definitely be featuring in some upcoming videos, so keep an eye on that one. And the last one there is that Nathan Brown is suspended for the next 2 weeks, so let's see what happens with the pack when he comes back. So anyway guys, that's all the news for this Team List Tuesday. There's plenty there, and we'll see what happens over the next few days as if there's any late changes or anything like that. And please hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one.